It's time for another week of Big Brother. Welcome to Oh Brother. I'm Anna Rumer with PopCulture, and I've got the latest updates for you on week 2 of Big Brother season 25. I'm scouring the feeds, I'm taking notes, all for you. I know, I'm a saint. Let's get into our episode-by-episode recaps of week 2, which I can only categorize as a clinical case of HOH-itis. So let's get into it from the beginning. You'll remember at the end of last week's live eviction, after Kirsten was voted out unanimously, all of the house guests were revealed to have mysteriously vanished from the house through this blue portal.
House guests?
Sunday we learned they'd been sent to the Scaryverse, and while none of our players is gonna win an Oscar for their acting, I wouldn't have to act too much. This Nether Gorgon is terrifying. And it's time for the next head of household competition, which is equally terrifying in a house that's split right down the middle. Basically, the Nether Gorgon gives hints as to safe spots in the neighborhood you can hide before he attacks. And with limited spots, let's just say the panic is real. It all came down to Jared and Hisam, and while Jared picked this last door thinking he won, he actually chose it incorrectly, trapping him in the Nether region and leaving Hisam to claim HOH for the week.
Guess who your new HOH is?
So much for wanting to keep a lower profile, Hisam. A Hisam HOH means it's time for interrogations, conversations with all the house guests.
Who do you feel naturally aligned with?
We quickly learned that Reilly is target numero uno for considering targeting Hisam the week before.
She said my name, and there has to be a response to that.
Matt's also got a target on his back. Not only is he a physical threat, I know a showman's brewing when I see one. And the Nether region isn't done with us yet. When Jared finally returns to the house, he reveals he has to choose another player to send back in his place. And because they'll be missing during the nomination ceremony, they'll be safe from being put up the whole week. Hisam warns Jared not to put up Reilly, Matt, or Cameron, who is his other possible target if things with Reilly go sour. And Jared's undercover mother, *𝐸, warns him not to save Reilly. That'll draw a line in the sand. Reilly, meanwhile,
I put you off the first one. You have to do this. I'm not even kidding. He's gonna do it.
It's tough being a double agent. Jared ultimately decides to send Jag to the Nether region because while he's still part of the Young Persons Alliance, he was never a consideration for being nominated this week. But that move is definitely going to get some scrutiny. Neither Jag nor Reilly understand why he did it. And Reilly is understandably upset when at the nomination ceremony, Hisam revealed that he nominated her and Cameron for eviction this week. We all know who his real target is.
There is no way I'm going out like this. I will not allow it.
With HOH Hisam on the warpath and the professors in power, I have one question. How is that Nether Gorgon so good on the stilts? It was honestly impressive. Oh, and I guess, is there any way that the other side of the house can save Reilly with the power of veto? Let's get into Wednesday's episode. We pick back up after Hisam nominated Reilly and Cameron, and he made it very clear that his target was going to be Reilly, which he explains to her later on, like he would to a 5-year-old.
Does that make sense to you? I know it sucks to hear it that way.
And while she just kind of sits there and takes it, we know this feud is not one-sided IRL.
God, he rubs me the wrong way. He really rubs me the wrong way.
Don't get me wrong, Hisam's lecture series isn't just reserved for Reilly. He tells Matt that if he ends up playing the veto and uses it to save Reilly, it's gonna look like they're in a showmance, so he shouldn't do it. But Matt doesn't care. I mean, look at that, he's smitten.
That's why I gotta save you.
While Hisam's like icing his jaw, Jag returns from the Nether region, which you thought I wouldn't have to say this episode, didn't you? He brings with him the message that he now has to send someone else to the Nether region, that's twice, and that person is gonna miss being able to play in the veto. Now Jag for some reason decides to ask for permission from Hisam, and Hisam says he wants blue to go. Jag, however, wants to send red, battle of the colors I guess, but he decides it's his safest bet to do neither and just picks Bowie, who's dimly aware that we're playing a game.
I'm scared.
When it's time for the veto, we've got Matt, America, and Blue playing alongside our HOH and nominees, and the competition requires them to play a record in reverse to unscramble clues to complete 3 tasks in this cursed music room as fast as they can.
We've even got a band Joseph. I'm ready to rock.
And it's Hisam who comes out on top of the piano, and he wins the veto to basically become judge, jury, and executioner this week.
Everyone would have taken Reilly off the block, but I won.
That's 2 vetoes and an HOH, if you're keeping count. And despite me forgetting she was even gone, Bowie is back from the Nether region, that's thrice. Reilly knows she doesn't have a shot with Hisam, but she does the old Big Brother thing anyways and goes for a chat where she is once again condescended to as Hisam assures her that she is staying on that block.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And Hisam's not done yet. He delivers quite the damning speech about Reilly at the veto ceremony, and obviously he doesn't use it.
I'm hoping that my house guests will help me vote Reilly out and give us all an opportunity to reestablish relationships.
But people in the house are starting to get a little tired of King Hisam, if you know what I mean.
He is so adamant about this is what you should do and who we should target, and he's targeting and so vocal about it.
Hisam's HOH reign may be going exactly as he planned, but it's not exactly winning him any friends with his own allies. Does that make sense to you? But will they go against his wishes to save Reilly, or is there something more cunning, more butterbeany up their sleeves? Let's get into the live eviction. We pick up after Hisam's veto speech singling out Reilly as his target, and apparently the speech went on for like 5 or 6 minutes that we didn't see on camera, which has everyone, even his own alliance, the professors, a little freaked out.
Hisam's speech was a little extra.
Hisam's whole HOH hasn't done him any favors, honestly, and 𝐒𝐒 starts to wonder if maybe she should follow through on her promise to keep Reilly safe that she made in week 1. This whole episode was people one by one starting to think about flipping the vote towards Cameron, honestly.
Why should I be doing that guy's bidding?
And 𝐒𝐒 and Felicia start to think about pulling Jared and Izzy in with them in a flip against Hisam. But is this something they do now to save Reilly, or is it showing their hand a little too soon? I smell backdoor butterbeans cooking. The ingredients for a flip are all there. Jag and 𝐒𝐒, America, Corey, Blue, Matt, and Jared are all on board for a possible flip. And this professor's meeting / Hisam lecture in the HOH room didn't win him any points with anyone.
Stay strong, but no new alliances.
Now Izzy's on board for backdooring Hisam, and Miss Felicia is too once Corey reveals that Hisam was having a weird meeting with America in which he basically admitted he hates Reilly for not bringing him in on the young cool side of the house from the beginning.
I think Reilly sort of split the house in two.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people ended up on sides they may not want to be on.
Now that Hisam's not even staying true to his word about not making any alliances, it's time for the bye-bye bitches to make their move. Well, except for Bowie, who doesn't want to know, and Nicole, who isn't convinced by this move at all. I'm not gonna lie, she definitely has a point here. It does feel like showing your cards a little bit too soon if the ultimate goal is backdooring Hisam, but let me know your take in the comments. It's then time to vote, and these speeches were nothing. I was actively begging Julie to cut Reilly off. Sorry, girl.
I'm really bad at this. I'm sorry, Julie.
And one by one, the house unanimously voted Reilly off, which she later tells Julie she told them they could do once the writing was on the wall. Very kind, but I want to see that fight in these players. I mean, coming from the show that brought us Dan Giesling's funeral, and speaking of old school Big Brother, Julie just revealed next Thursday we're finally getting the legendary pressure cooker HOH back, so literally cancel your plans and turn on those live feeds. With Reilly gone, the next HOH is critical, and I don't think anyone would be opposed to backdooring Hisam at this point. We'll have to see what happens next, and you know we'll be covering it in depth all season long here on Oh Brother, so tune in every week for your rapid fire recap. From way outside the Big Brother house, I'm Anna Rumer with Pop Culture, and this is Oh Brother.